You are done, Rahul, with the questions? Great. So this is a great start. Let's go for question number 12. Question number 2. Question number 2. Okay. D. Okay. D, 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 D. So I will probably will go for with the majority. But as a PMP, you are responsible. What is happening this? Okay. As a PMP, you are responsible to all of the following except. So you are so D is the so B is the protect confidentiality of the sensitive information. Yes, it should be. You should respect the copyright property right of the others and provide the accurate information. What is the problem with the statement D is be as fair as possible. There is nothing called as fair as possible. It is either you should be fair, and if you are not fair, you are unfair. There is nothing called as fair as possible. What about question number 3? Will be great. Let's go for question number 4. C. I will go with the majority, but let me explain this. You are the project manager of a project. You come to know that a team member has scheduled a meeting with the client without informing you. What should you do? Report it to his functional manager. Immediately bring this incident to your supervisor notice team member and address the issue up front. As this is first incident, you can ignore it. So ignoring is not a good idea. Reporting it to the functional manager is not a good idea because as we just learned that we need to deal with the person directly. We need to go to the other people only when our direct interaction with the person doesn't work. Okay, only then we need to go to the supervisor and other people as such. In fact, a similar question was there in HR, human resource. Let's go for question number 5. Okay, so there is a contest between D and A. Okay, you are project manager on on the project to develop a control system for an overseas client. As part of this project, you need to import machine at client side, and for that you need to apply for a license. You are informed to submit the application and pay a fee to get the license. What should you do? Project payment are provisioned. And D is pay the fee if it is in line with the law of the land. Okay, so let me ask you one question. If somebody is asking for a bribe, I'm not share. In this case, it doesn't seems like a bribe. Okay, but if somebody is asking for the bribe, decide on the basis of do we have budget or not, or do we decide ethically that we should give bribe or not? What should be our basis of decision? Should not give bribe by but basis on what? Because it is wrong to give bribe or because we don't have budget? It is wrong to give bribe. So why we are here? We are deciding based on what is there budgeted or not. It should be ethical decision, right? Now here it is a license, we need to pay fee. Normally license, to get licenses you need to pay fee. So why we are looking at the budget? Even if there is no budget and we need a license, we have to make a budget for it. See, who is making budget? Budget we are making. If something is required, we have to budget it. If there is no budget, we are going to take a deviation. But if this is required to execute the project, we have to do it, right? So we don't decide actions based on what is there in the budget or not. But looking at the action, what is required to be done for this project, we decide the budget. And we take deviation from the authorized budget if we feel that the budget does not have the provision which we have to do. So if something has to be done, then it has to be done. Either it is there is a budget or not. We have to make a provision of that. But in this case, if license is to be imported, law of land may be already checked before deciding to purchase the license. Yeah, that's why it is written in the D. Pay the fee if it is in line with the law of the land. So you get to know, in case you don't know, if you already know, you pay the fee. And there is no option here if the land without importing the machine. If that would be the case, then this question should not arise. I think that's not a appropriate answer. Refuse to pay the fee as it is not, it may not be appropriate. So that is why the D is the law of the land. If then pay the fee. If I say C, then it will not be appropriate. It is I am taking my own judgment. I am not checking the law of the land, isn't it? Absolutely. So somebody is asking you, see, you are in a different country, in a different place. Somebody is asking you the fee. Now you are confused what to do. That means check if it is right or wrong. If it is right, do it. If it is wrong, then don't do it. Absolutely right. Okay, let's go to the question. Anil has not attempted the question. A. Okay, let's see. And has managed only testing projects. He has been assigned a development project. Project manager has no idea of development methodology and complexity of development projects. What should he do? Refuse the project and explain to his boss that it does not match with his skills. And let's look at the B. Take up the project as the responsibility is given by the management. Now I have a question. In case of B, are we sure that management is knowing about that we don't have, or this project manager doesn't have the skills or the experience in development project? And I also want to ask you, what is the problem with the option A? Okay. No, I may agree with you that he can accept it as a new challenge, as a new responsibility, which is the option of or C also. The C also talking about this, take up the project as it is a challenge for him. The question here is that when you are taking up the project, do the stakeholders who are giving the project know about the risk? Or do they know that it is project is going to a person who doesn't have experience in this kind of projects? It's not about testing development, it's about a kind of project, and you have experience in a different kind. Project manager has experience in different kind of project. You can simply give a refusal to the management. Simply refusing to the management could be problematic, but yes, with a proper explanation, you, because simply saying no, see, management will be accepting if they know that what is the issue in this. The problem is not taking up or not taking up. The problem is that letting them know, letting the stakeholders know about it. Even after that, they can say you that we know, but you carry on. In that case, you can carry on. Yeah, simply refusing will be difficult, or may not be inappropriate also. We have to give the reasoning. We have to tell that we don't want to take this project because we don't have skills or knowledge in this particular area. Now management still say you take up and you are interested in taking up, then you can take up, because then the conflict or the risk understanding is known. See, when we are talking about the responsibility and fairness and the transparency, that is what transparency is all about. That other party is either knowing or not knowing, but we are explicitly making them knowing that this is what this is what is the case. You still want to give, fair and enough, we will take up, because then you have done your job of letting them know. Now they are taking a conscious decision that yes, we know, but still you take up, and then and if you are interested and you want to take this up, you can take up. But otherwise, if you don't want to take up, you still say, I don't feel confident in executing such a project, I don't want to take this. It is better to getting it and getting into some kind of trouble and then not getting any kind of support from those people, because those people will say, we know that you don't have the experience or understanding of this. You can accept it as a new responsibility. You cannot simply refuse. But yeah, but if he has a good team of developers, he can take the challenge. I'm not saying it is a problem in taking up the challenges. He can take up the challenge, but letting the stakeholders know that he doesn't have a background of it. Let the people know that not I am not interested in taking this project because I do not have the background of this project. I do not have experience, knowledge about this. Now people still want you to do and you want to do, then you can take up. The matter is about the disclosure of this information. Until unless we are sure that they know. There is a possibility, Rahul, there is a possibility. Many times people may not be aware about every aspect of your profile. Your manager has 100 things to do besides handling you. We should not assume that they know our all the capabilities or incapabilities. We should not assume, especially in those areas where we have seen a conflict. Suppose I'm a C developer, okay, and somebody gave me a Java project. What do you think? My productivity will be high, low, or medium? My productivity will be low. I will learn and do. Right? Now, if that person is somehow not aware of that I do not have any background of Java, then what will happen? He would be expecting a work to be done in 1 week and I will do it in 8 days or 10 days. Don't you think we will go into a kind of trouble? I will learn and do. Then he will be having a better idea that that the productivity he would be expecting will not going to come, or anything related to that, his expectation will settle similar to that. But it is a case of testing and development, so there are different kind of projects. If a development project manager is given a project of testing, the same thing will happen. He may not be knowing various issues which normally come up in testing projects, and then he will be not as efficient in handling those issues as a testing project manager, right? See, the point here is that the we is explicitly there are two three things which I revise here in our PPT. Okay, in this, see, if you see here, what it says, we accept the accountability for, no, sorry, this is fine, consistent with our background, experience, skill and qualification. Now, what is the thing is, this is one thing. And then we go to the other aspect of fairness. And we talk about, no, where is that? Not this. Look at the conflict of interest. Refrain from engaging in any decision-making process or otherwise attempting to influence outcome until the full disclosure of the affected stakeholder. Okay, so that is another thing. See, when we say conflict of interest, in this what is happening, I do not have that kind of experience, but my ambitions are there, I should do it. So this is a personal aspiration, right, to do this such kind of project. But my background is not of that sort. So there is a conflict of interest in this. Now we say it is not only about we take the things inconsistent with our skills and knowledge and experience, but also disclose any, not only conflict of interest existing there, even if there is a potential of conflict of interest. Even if there is a potential, means there is a possibility that those people, there is a fair possibility that those people who are giving me the project may not be aware about it. Until unless I explicitly know that they are aware about it, it's not a good idea to carry on. And that's what this question is all about. So two things are prevailing here. One is consistency with my background, and second thing about the conflict of interest. There is a conflict of interest situation. We don't like, it's not easily clear that it is a conflict of interest situation. Where is the conflict? Conflict is about getting the job done properly, and the second is my aspirations of doing such projects. If I don't have any aspiration of the, like, I will refuse it because they are not consistent. But I am eager to take it because my aspiration shows that, and therefore I need to disclose this to the people that I do not have this kind of background, but I am willing to do this. You want to give it to me? I would like, and I will ensure that it should get done. But there are certain risks in this. The same thing we should do when we take the projects from our customers. They are has the rightfulness to know this explicitly, even if implicitly it is not known, or we are not very sure about that they are knowing it or not. The point here is not taking or taking up or not taking up. The point here is letting other person know very explicitly. Does that make sense? Should we move ahead? All be great. Let's say question number 8. D, C, D, D. Okay. You are a project manager of a project that is part of program managed by a program manager. You discover that the project manager of another project is continuously reporting his project on track while a deliverable you need from him is delayed for several days. What should you do? So the contest between C and D, right? So what is that? Report the incident to senior management. Second is report to the program manager about the anomaly in the status. I think D is a better answer in this case. Let me continuously reporting his project on track while a deliverable you need from him is delayed for several days. What should you do? Report to the program manager about the anomalies in the status. I think that is right. Report the incident to senior management. Maybe that is the next step. Does that make sense? No, I'm saying that what we are saying is also right. It's also true. The my thing is that the first of all, it is not a technical matter. It is a matter of estimation to compressing the estimates. Now you have, yes, there is a possibility in case PM is not fully involved with the team, then it is a possibility. What I suggest, like first time when you are doing the estimates, you should use your team to estimate the project and understand their point of view, understand that how much buffer is there, how much flexibility is there in the schedule. In my opinion, once you have full estimate, discuss with your team and you have prepared a schedule, you know how much flexibility and the time availability is there in the schedule. For that, going back to the team member, I will suggest not to go as a first step. First step, I use my own things, my own understanding because I am a project manager. I know about the project. What are if team members know something can be done and I do not know, I think there are more serious problems in the project then. It's not only this. It means I do not have a good understanding of my own project. First time estimate, I can say that team has to be there. Without team, you cannot estimate. But if you know everything, you get to know, you know buffers, you have prepared a schedule, then you should be knowing about how much a schedule can be compressed. By calling a team meeting may create unnecessary pressure on the team members to reduce the estimate and that can make a team a project infeasible. Yeah, but those documents are already there, right? So re-estimation means we need to only check that 20% compression is possible or not. And who is accountable for the project? The project manager. Team members may reduce under pressure and may put the project in trouble. and we have to see that this 20% we can reduce. We have to see that if it is not making the project infeasible. So I'm not denying the idea of going to the team, but I will say I restrain doing that. I say I have good idea what is happening in the project, how much buffers are there, how much time is there, how much it can be compressed. Let me work out. I will go to the team members later. Some missing with the information. I find myself that I am not having the information. I can go to the selective teams. But having a team meeting with to reduce the estimates, I think I should know that how much can be reduced. And if I know that 20% can be easily achieved, what will I do to call the team meeting? Does see it is management is the thing. If you give it to the 10 people to do the same thing, they will do it 10 different ways. Right? I think it's restored, right? So therefore these things can only be learned by practicing. By they, if we think that we can conclude something very concretely in this classroom, it will be difficult. There in human practice in the project there are many soft aspects which can be greatly learned by doing them only. And I think I will suggest you to that you do the first C and then go to B. Only if you see that there is a possibility, let me talk to some people. So there is no need of a call a meeting of the team members, but you can talk to some selective people and discuss about it. I do not see any reason for calling a team meeting for that. That's what my take is on this question. And there is nothing wrong and right in the case of like management. Then people will do it in 10 different ways, and they both all can do 10 ways very efficiently. Chances are a little less, but if there is a possibility. No, I will not say B is part of C. B is a different approach altogether. B normally be used by the people who do not have much knowledge about one project. They normally use B. And many projects, they don't, project managers do not have time to look into the project day and night and looking everything, knowing about their projects. And therefore they use the approach B first. Because they don't know about the project. But otherwise, if I have scheduled the project, I know that how much buffer is there and I should be able to resolve it, right? This is not a technical matter which I need to discuss with the team members, and I can selectively talk to some of the people. So B is a different approach, C is a different approach. And I will suggest you to always go from C to B. First approach, which C, first do C. And I say resist doing B. But you should be clear that you know, you understand your team members, you know everything about the teams, and there is no like disconnect between that. And if this is a disconnect, I think it is a larger issue. You try to fill that disconnect beyond the answering this question. And these professional responsibility questions are like that. Many times we need to live with the, like we say na, let's agree to disagree kind of thing. You may not be fully convinced with my explanation also. There is a fair possibility. These questions are like that. Should we move to the next one? A or B, C. Okay, let's read this. You are a project manager of a flyover construction project. The work is awarded to a subcontractor. 10% of the work is completed and you are reviewing the progress. You find the cement used in is not meeting the quality standard of your company. However, you observe the quality of the cement is good enough for the flyover construction. What should you do? So what is A? You report that the quality of the cement is not meeting company's standard and ask subcontractor to provide the resolution. B, what is B? B is you note the observation and commented that cement's quality is okay for flyover need. You note the observation and suggest the amendment in the quality policy. You ignore the incident as cement's quality is good enough for the flyover. So ignorance is not chosen by anyone, so that's great. Now look at the three options. What is the question is what is to be done now? Company policy says the grade should be 10. The contractor has used a grade 8, which is sufficient for the flyover to work. My question is that if it is okay to have 8 grade cement, then why the company has a policy of grade 10? And if this policy is not going to be honored, then why we need this policy and why we have a policy? The option C would be a grade 1, but option C does not talk about any action today. That means what option C is saying, observation is noted. You say means the cement is acceptable and you are suggesting an amendment in the quality policy. Means the quality policy is violated, but you are saying okay, instead of making the change in the cement, we will make the change in the policy. And if that is the case, then what we were doing as of now? Why didn't we keep the policy as 8, grade 8 instead of having a grade 10? I say, why do you think that C is a better option? Feel free to speak also. I think writing takes some time. So you feel free to speak out.
Hello, Vivek.
Yes.
I think it is saying that the quality of the cement is also good enough for flyover construction. So how can you make that company standards and the industry standards are different?
My question to you is this: why we have a policy like that? If quality, if company policy says something, what does it mean to us? We have an option to obey it or not to obey it.
Yeah, you have to obey it.
If company has a policy, do we have an option to obey or not to obey it?
Yeah, you have to obey by the company standards actually.
And if it is optional to obey it, then what is the meaning of the policy altogether? If that is the case, then you will prepare a plan with your team, and team has an option to obey it or not to obey it. Wherever they feel on their judgment that this is not the action to be taken but written in the project plan, they will not do it, right?
Yes.
So as of today, the quality cement is not meeting the company standard. Okay, so it's a pure violation. But if you think that a this is not required, the quality policy is harder than required. For now, you ask the resolution that why the contractor is using inferior than the company standard, but after this, that is as a next step, you can suggest the company to lower down the quality grade because it is not required. But as of today, it is a violation of the policy. And policy is not an optional. Policy is a mandatory thing. We have to obey it. We can't say that it's okay not to obey it. No, we have to obey it.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, A is the answer right now. Right now, we need to act like this. But as a next step, like you do A and then take a step C, understanding that the company's policy is harder than required. Of course, you need to demolish the structure. You must demolish the structure because that's the policy. It's not about industry. We are not talking about. Our company standard is to follow a grade 10 cement. If you are using a grade 8, you are violating the policy. And because you are violating the policy, the structure has to be demolished. Right? We look, we come from the cost point of view. What will happen to the cost? What will happen to the timeline? Okay, but the objective is different. So we need to see right now the rest of the pillars can be prepared, but after changing the policy, not before changing the policy. Yes. First A and then you can go for the C. Right? Let's go for next question, 11. All C? All C? All are C, or anybody is having a different opinion? Okay, so let's go for question number 12. And then you are in. Okay, let's read it. By the time Anil type is option. A piece of work of your work is subcontracted to a vendor in the foreign country. You visit the vendor for a review. Vendor's project manager gives you a costly gift, as it is customary in that country to give gift to a visitor. What should you do? You have answers D and C. Okay, so what is C? You acknowledge the gestures but politely refuse the gift, as it is inappropriate to take the gift at this occasion. Second is you refuse the gift, stating that it is inappropriate to take such a gift in your country. Okay, so my question is that in which country you are, and do you follow that country's law of lands and the customs and the rules and regulations, rules, regulation, law and the customs, whose companies should follow, whose countries rules, regulation and customs will follow. The foreign country or your native country? Until we are on 12th. Okay. My question is that if we are in the foreign company, which law, rules and customs we should follow? In those that country or our country? And if what about the other countries' customs? So if a person want to give you a gift, that is custom there, and now you take a gift, which should prevail? What should prevail? Or we should lock horn on that? See, simple rule is that if we are visiting other countries, we have to respect their law, rules, regulations, and as well as custom. Now problem here is that if we follow their custom, that is we take the gift, there is a conflict of interest, that we can favor the person, right? That is what the conflict, right or wrong? What is the problem with the B? That if we take the gift, then there is a conflict of interest that the from vendor we are taking gift. So there is a conflict of interest that we can favor this person. It could be a type of bribe, right? But if you let this thing know to your company, if your company get to know about this, then will it be a bribe still? And if you give this gift to your company, then this bribe will go away, this conflict will go away, right? So what happens here, when you take the gift, you move into a conflict of interest. Like it could be a type, it could be treated as a type of bribe, but it will remain bribe, or it could be conflict of interest if you do not disclose it. But if you disclose it and give it to your company, anyway you are on company visit, right? You yourself are not representing there. You are representing company. So whatever gift is coming is not coming to you, is coming to the company. And therefore you take the gift and give it to the company. Because you don't keep the gift, the chances, the favoritism or the bribe, all these things will go away. And you come out from your conflict of interest. So conflict of interest will go away as soon as you disclose this gift and give it to your company. And therefore, in all the companies, if you see, if they are a significant size, they have a gift disclosure policy. They have a gift disclosure policy. Okay, every company has disclosure. So whenever you take it, you announce it to the company, and there is a place, or there are people where you can go and give the gift to those people. So gift is not yours, and therefore the chances of favoritism etc. will not be there. And therefore in this case B is really the right answer. Almost all companies have a gift disclosure policy. So in this case it is the B which should be answered. We should honor their custom, take the gift. The conflict of interest which has come because of taking the gift, you remove that by disclosing it to your company and giving it to your company. Okay, should we move to the question number 13? Okay, question number 13 not done. Okay, not a problem. Let's see what is the answer right now. D, D, which is in my opinion is also the right answer in this case. We should collaborate with the other project manager, see how you both can work with the same project, with the same skills, and address your project's needs. What about question number 14? D, 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 A. Okay. See, let's read this. You refer a candidate to your company for recruitment as you are the ideal employee to recruitment manager sent you the profile for interview. What do you do? Now you say D or A. So A is take the interview but do not give any special favor for the candidate because you have referred him. Who will believe you? You have done the favor or not? If you select, who will say that you have not done the favor? And if he is selectable, you do not select him, then again it is wrong, right? So A in that case, both the side it will not work. Now we go to the D part. You talk to the recruitment manager, tell him that you have referred the candidate and sought his permission to interview the candidate. I will say this is still not preferable. There is a better preferable answer here. You return the resume to the recruitment, the B answer, stating the fact that you have referred that candidate and hence you cannot interview him. I actually stated at that time the conflict of interest that it is not only about disclosing it, it also about staying away from it at any cost. Even if it occurs, it may cause losses. You must stay away. Now what is happening here? You see, you are the ideal candidate. That means there are other candidates also available for interview. Okay, but there is a statement saying that you are the ideal employee to check candidate technical skills. Absolutely right. But not so ideal employees can also take interview, right? Or every time in your company only ideal people can take interviews. It's all about availability also. And in this case, even if you disclose it, you take the interview, the conflict of interest still exists. And therefore, you have to stay away and tell him that I'm not going to take the interview. I have referred this person. You have to find your own other people. Let him ask for let him hire a consultant. Let him hire another person. If there is nobody in the company to do it, let him hire a consultant and take the interview, right? It is the recruitment manager's job to identify a person because it is a conflict of interest for you. You not only disclose it but also stay away from it. And it is only saying you are ideal employee. Not so ideal employee can also be used. And many times we do. Not every time only ideal employees are taking interviews. Isn't it? Therefore, I gave you much more time for attempting this question. I know they are like that. These questions are like that and practices. It is not about PMI or non-PMI. It is the same rule applies in our society, in every society, that when there is a conflict of interest, you must take yourself away from that situation. Our political scenario situation today is because of all exploiting these things. Okay, start always from the small thing and get bigger and bigger and bigger. The simple equation here is that stay away from conflict. This is in practice as well as when you give the answer to the PMP exam. It is absolutely that way. Let's go to the last question, 50. Not done. Okay. This is all about IPRs. So I think It's not a, it's much more clear as such in this manner. I think the B is the right answer in this case. Revisit the condition of employment with the new hire and advise him her to honor the intellectual property right. Yeah, so until D, the 14 is not D, 14 is B. Because you have referred the candidate, you cannot interview that person. You should not do when you give the PMP exam, always select such a thing, and also when you are practicing at your workplace, also practice this thing. And 15 is B. Okay, luckily at exactly at 11 o'clock we have completed the fifth question. So it is time to close this session.